from the Frat House here. It's a balmy night here on the last week of February.
Yes.
And we're prepared to give you a heavy dose of motorsports. But before we get to all we got planned for tonight, hey Sidekick, come on. You gotta let the viewers know. What's with the lumberjack look here? What's with that?
Oh, the lumber, yeah, I'm growing out the beard. The first Union home game is the son of Ben's having a special thing.
Right, when is that?
It's the Stash Bash. It's March 18th.
Okay.
So there'll be live bands.
So it's mandatory we gotta be looking lumberjack-like?
Well, I haven't quite decided how I'm going to be wearing my stash, so I figured I would grow the full thing in, and come the 18th, I'll figure out what I'm gonna be rocking at the Stash Bash.
Well, we just want to make sure all of our fans out there have a clue. It is Sidekick, whether your thoughts or not. Last week we started the show off, kind of a sad story. Gary Carter had passed last week, and we kind of just thought we'd give him his proper eulogy here. 57 years old, we had announced last week at the beginning of the show he had passed away as a result of cancer. Fantastic guy. I mean, I remember him, watching him for all those years. 11-time All-Star, 2003 Hall of Famer inductee. He played 21 years in the Major League Baseball, mostly with the Expos, and who had drafted him in 1972. And he played with them until 1984. Then ultimately went over to the New York Mets from 85 to 89, where he was instrumental in their World Series win in 1986. He ended his career 2,092 hits, 324 home runs, 1,225 RBIs, and a career batting average of 262. I got to tell you, just personally, Gary Carter, to me, despite the fact he played for opposing teams, to my Phils, Expos, and the Mets, he was just a guy you just liked.
Right.
They called him kid, and he just had a way about him. And those numbers, when you take a look at it from a catcher's perspective, I mean, he was a catcher. I'd have to put him in probably in my top 3 or 4 catchers of all time that I've seen. Terrific numbers as a catcher, and just fabulous guy.
Right. I remember growing up, always hearing about Gary Carter and stuff. So
just a likable guy. I mean, you didn't look at him and think, oh, he's playing for the other team. I mean, I don't know. It was just weird about Gary Carter. All right, and let's start, and we'll jump in with our motorsports heavy duty here. Jump over, take a look at racing. We got motorsports kicking up heavy.
Yep.
Last week, NHRA second national race going on over there in Arizona. 2 weeks in a row, we had NHRA. 2 weeks in a row, John Force Racing comes out on top. This time, Robert Hight, he won the race. John Force Racing, 2 races under the belt. Highlight of that race, however, really was rookie driver. We talked about her a little bit last week. 23-year-old Courtney Force racing against Dad, racing against the old man in the first heat, and she beat him.
Nice.
But what we're all waiting for here at the Frat House, really anxiously awaiting, coming up this Sunday. But before we get to that, I want to jump over. We'll talk real quick. We have asked you folks to jump in and join our Frat House League. All right, NASCAR Fantasy. Last week, we had 1 league. This week, we've got 2 leagues. Hey, tonight, we had to start a 3rd league. We've got 2 leagues completely full of fans out there. If you want to get in on this, you got to jump over, join our Facebook page. We'll give you all. It's simple. As you can see, so many people have been jumping in on it. It's fantastic. All right, and it's a lot of fun, and you can bet that Sidekick and I'll be right in there with one of those leagues with you, with promise. Right?
You can knock off the most hated.
Absolutely, yeah, you read that guy right there. That guy right there. And for those of you that are already in on the league, you're going to want to make sure you get your team set before the big day on Sunday, the Super Bowl of NASCAR, the Great American Race coming up, and that's the 54th annual running of the Daytona 500, which will be aired on Fox. Beginning at 1 o'clock. This week's edition of SI is all over this race, Sidekick. All over it. And referring to it, they're actually saying that they're anticipating a whole change in the landscape of it. They're expecting new champions. I mean, talking about the fact that Jimmie Johnson and Tony Stewart have been winning it for so long. Hey, they're giving a lot of love to Kasey Kahne. A lot of love right there. All right? I mean, they're looking at this guy. They're talking Kasey Kahne. They're talking Carl Edwards. They're talking They're talking Carl Edwards. They're talking Kyle Busch. They're saying these guys are going to, that, you know, the days of Jimmie Johnson and Tony Stewart, having won this thing for, I don't know, 7, 8 years in a row, over. We're going to see changes. What do you think? Where do you see it? We're going to have a Trevor Bayne pulling out of someplace out of nowhere this year, or what?
I don't know about that. But I think Kyle looks good this year.
So do I.
So
do
I mean, that shootout was amazing.
It was. And you're going to see a little footage of that as we close out the show tonight. Make sure you tune in for it. All right? Check it out. Let's go over and take a look at baseball real quick. Not much coming out of it yet because all the training camps have just opened up. But I'll tell you, with the temps and the temperatures being the way they've been around here, particularly today, I think we hit over 60 here at the Frat House. It just makes you want to have opening day start like tomorrow. But in fact, no. We still have 6 days to our first exhibition game, and we've got 41 days until the season opener. But I would expect that by next week we're going to be hearing a lot more things probably coming out of the training camps. And as they happen, you can bet we're going to be here and bring them to you. All right? In the meantime, we've got NBA in the All-Star break. All right? NBA's in their All-Star break, and they'll be playing their All-Star game on Sunday, starting at 7 o'clock from the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida. Well, we'll take a quick look and a glimpse at the leaderboard as it stood at the end of last evening. Chicago Bulls, in my opinion, are still leading the entire pack. 27-8 record. You got Miami Heat there in the Southeast Division. 26-7 record. Oklahoma City Thunder, who'd have thunk it? 26-7 record. San Antonio Spurs 22-10. The Clippers are 20-11. 76ers from our hometown here 20-14. They haven't won a game in five games. They've lost 5 in a row. And
bit of a slide.
Yeah, they might be showing. They might be showing what they really are. I'm not sure. Those are the current standings. I don't want to move off of basketball yet. Let me ask you a question. And I was doing a little research on this today myself. And I could not find it anywhere. But would you tell me the last time one player made the cover of Sports Illustrated 2 weeks in a row? Jeremy Lin making the cover of Sports Illustrated. No, this was last week. This is this week. 2 weeks in a row. Can you ever remember?
Maybe Jordan? Maybe.
I don't know. Can I tell you?
Jordan.
I'm telling you, I was researching the heck out of it today, and I couldn't find it anywhere. Yes, many players have made it multiple times, but 2 weeks in a row, absolutely incredible. Jeremy Lin just continues to make the news and get, I hate to say it, the headlines. As we saw last weekend, unfortunately, a little distastefully, coming from ESPN's website. Last Saturday, after they lost, between the hours of about 2:30 in the morning and 3:15 to about 3:15 in the morning, when the following post, and yeah, I got a copy of it, could be found. And it was removed apparently immediately, like 45 minutes after it appeared there. Now, apparently it was put up by a 6-year veteran. The guy was a editor. He had written many headlines. He's like 28 years old. And he's claiming, well, I didn't realize that there was anything offensive about this. I've done my own little poll on people about his age. And the fact of the matter is, everybody knows that is offensive. Mm-hmm. To put up a headline like that, I think was just outrageous. And I don't care how this guy wants to try to explain it, I think it was out of line.
No, I agree with you. It's not. You know, we talked about it last weekend. We were trying to figure out. What kind of mindset for that kind of article, and maybe it was just a little too much to drink. You said it came out 2 or 3 in the morning.
It did. Who knows? But I frankly, Jeremy Lin is fantastic. I would really like to see a lot of this kind of racial stuff just get out of the picture. All right,
I don't want to see you. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to smell you. Now leave.
Let's get that stuff out of the picture. All right. All right. Let's go over and take a look at hockey. All right. Now we're going to take a look at this week's leaderboard. Detroit Red Wings still up there. Central Division, 84 points. Vancouver's right behind them at 82. The Rangers, 81 in the Atlantic Division. Boston Bruins are at 74. San Jose Sharks, 69, and the Florida Panthers are sliding back a little bit. They didn't have a very good week at 65 points. And we're going to take a look at the Central Division. We're going to put that one under the microscope right now. And frankly, Sidekick, I got to tell you, I consider this to be the toughest division right now in the NHL. Central Division. And that means that we're going to be taking a look at the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Chicago Blackhawks, the Nashville Predators, the St. Louis Blues, and of course the Detroit Red Wings. Let me kick it off. And we're going to kick it off by taking a look at the basement dweller of the division. And also currently the worst team in the NHL, the Blue Jackets. This is a team, in my opinion, that if they just said right now, hey, the season's over, they would probably be okay. I think the Blue Jackets would probably be fine with that. And we did a little pre-show talking about them. We can talk about it a little bit here.
Sure.
Teams top. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about, just how bad this Blue Jackets team is. The team's top 8 scores, this is their top, are all a minus. Every single one of them. Including their top point man and the guy that everybody right now is talking about as possible trade potential, Rick Nash. He's got 20 goals and 42 points, but he's also a minus 21. Same is true of Vinny Prospal, who has 10 goals and 38 points. All negatives. All 8 top scorers. Goaltending has been absolutely abysmal. Steve Mason has played the majority of the games. 3.44 GAA, 89% save percentage, 21 losses. It may just be the worst in the NHL. You might remember that I said the Central Division is the toughest in the NHL. That is once you get past the Blue Jackets. So we're looking to you. Give us a better report of the Blackhawks.
Yes, the Blackhawks, Chicago. Well, Blackhawks are 33, 21, and 7. They're currently sitting at 73 points. They're 4, 6, and 0 in their last 10 games. Their leading scorer is right winger Marian Hossa. 23 goals, 35 assists, 58 points. Their second leading scorer is Jonathan Toews. 29 goals, 28 assists, and 57 points. Who this morning we found out was in a car accident.
Yeah.
He's currently not playing, but that's due to another injury, upper body injury he had.
They indicated he was all right.
Yeah, he was all right in a car crash this morning. And then their top goalie is Corey Crawford, who is 22, 14, and 5 with a 2.82 GAA.
Yeah, and you can't get away from those. You can't get away from this team and the Blackhawks until you talk about Patrick Sharp and Patrick Kane. Just phenomenal. They got 2 or 4 top scorers right there in that team. Blackhawks are something to watch. I'm telling you, this entire division from this point forward is something to watch. I'd have to say we're going to move over to the Nashville Predators, and I have to say this team is without a doubt the most underrated third place team in the NHL. Most underrated. This team, very quietly and very effectively, with virtually no big names on this team, has amassed a winning record, and they're only 8 points behind the Detroit Red Wings. Only 8. The Predators' point scorers are led by Martin Earnhardt with 13 goals and 31 assists for 44 points. Shane Weber, 12 goals and 26 assists, 38 points. The Predators are a very balanced scoring team. They don't have any monster superstars. But when you take a look down their roster, all right, 9 players all holding 11 goals or more. 9. All right? And that's what the difference is right now with the Predators. Pekka Rinne, who's their goaltender, again, a quietly very effective goaltender, 2.37 GAA, 33, 13, and 6 record, 92.5 save percentage, 4 shutouts. So this is a Predators team that I don't think you can take lightly. All right? They're a very effective, balanced team. Watch them. We're going to give you a shot to talk about your homeboys.
Yep.
Go on over to talk to us about the St. Louis Blues.
We're going to take a ride over to the Scott Trade Center. We're going to talk about my Blues. Ken Hitchcock, the most senior professional coach in the city of St. Louis, and he's only been there since November. How about that? A lot of coaching changes in St. Louis. The Blues, right now they're 36, 17, and 7. They've got 79 points. They are 6, 4, and 0 in their last 10. Their leading scorer is center David Bax, 17 goals, 25 assists, 42 points. Second leading scorer is TJ Oshie, 15 goals, 24 assists, and 39 points. They do the goalie tandem.
Yes, they do.
You've got goalie Yaroslav Halak, who is 16, 10, and 5 with a 1.97 GAA. And then goalie Brian Elliott, 27 and 2, 1.65 GAA. Right now, they've got the best home record in the NHL, 26, 4, and 4.
Yep. And let me tell you, too, what I think. The secret of that team is the goaltending. All right? When you take a look at it, as you pointed out, you got one goaltender with a 1.97, with the other one with a 1.65. Here's the other thing that's most amazing. 12 shutouts between the two of them. Fantastic goaltending work going on over there in St. Louis. We're going to close it out currently with the best team in the NHL, and that is, of course, the Detroit Red Wings. Riding high right now on a 23-game home win streak. They're playing right now, as we know, possibly for their 24th. When you take a look up and down this roster of the Detroit Red Wings, it's just outstanding. Points leader, center Pavel Datsyuk, 16 goals, 43 helpers, all right? 59 points. Goals leader is Johan Franzen, 23 goals and 47 points. Their goalie, Jimmy Howard, has been absolutely awesome, 2.03 GAA, 32, 12, and 1 record. I just don't know. This team has just come on since like Christmas time, and they have been just ripping it up. I don't know if anybody's going to beat them. Frankly, I have a feeling we could see these guys in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Oh, definitely. So, I think the Canucks tonight, they've got the best. They've got the best.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed for them. Let me put it to you that way. All right. All right. That's our wrap on the NHL. We've been getting some really good feedback, and we really appreciate it from our Facebook fans over our Biggest Villain series. And we're going to take a look tonight at the biggest villain in NASCAR in light of the fact that we've got the big race coming up this Sunday. And we put the word out again last week. You know, hey, let us know who you think. And we got the likely names: Kyle Busch and Jimmie Johnson, and who else did we get? A couple others. But those were the two big ones that we heard a lot of. I'm going to start it off this week. I've only been following NASCAR for, I guess, a little bit over 2 years, folks. All right? So it's tough for me to really come down and say I hate one guy over another. It really is. I mean, I can't say I really, really hate anybody in NASCAR.
You're not a real NASCAR fan.
Maybe I'm not.
You either love or you hate them.
Well, I'm still not. I don't know. Yeah. But if I had to pick one, and I've done this before, and I know I'm probably going to get some hate mail for this one, mine would have to be Junior. Year after year after year, we hear Earnhardt gets the advantage of the fandom of NASCAR. This guy is just loved by everybody. And frankly, I think, and that kind of irks me, and I think he benefits from, and he rides the coattails of his father, who, died tragically, unfortunately, behind the wheel on a NASCAR track. Fact is, I just don't see him being as talented. He doesn't have quite the ability that the old man had. And I think that's evidence. Well, maybe, but I think it's evidenced by his current 129 race drought. In fact, he hasn't seen a checkered flag since March of 2008.
He hasn't won since you've been
or June of 2008.
NASCAR.
No, he has not. Close last year, but not. No. So, who's yours?
Yes, mine's the guy that almost ruined NASCAR, Jimmie Johnson. Actually, I'm in the same boat. I'm not a Junior fan. I'm not even a Hendrick fan. I don't like any of the Hendrick drivers. With the exception of this year, Kasey Kahne's a little interesting, with him coming into Hendrick. But I'm not a big fan of Hendrick Motorsports, period. And this, prior to last year with the NASCAR Fantasy League that we started, I tuned out of NASCAR because of Jimmie Johnson's championship run. Because it got boring, Jimmie Johnson every year. And then we started the Fantasy League, and I got into it because of that. And thank goodness he lost last year finally. So, I can watch NASCAR again. So.
Well, there you have it. Those are our villains. Next week we're going to be taking a look at, this is a tough challenge for me, we're going to be taking a look at the biggest villain in hockey. Let us know what you think. Hit us up on Facebook, all right? There you have it. See you next week.
Remember, he'll try to beat you when he gets over here.
You know who that was? That's Steve Addington.
Who used to be Kyle's crew chief and is now Tony's crew chief.
He will try to beat you.
1 mile to the finish line of the Budweiser shootout. Tony Stewart or Kyle Busch, who's going to win it?
I don't know if Kyle's got it. Remember what happened the last time these two were coming to a start-finish line back in the July race?
Smoke versus Wild Thing to the line.
You got